All right, guys, are you ready for a double header? In this video, we're gonna break down what makes these two Jeeps so badass. So let's go take a look. Hey everybody, it's Bubba with X's 4x4, where we build badass 4x4s. And today we have a couple of really nice badass 4x4s that are getting picked up by the transporter tomorrow and making their way back to Phoenix. Before they do that, I wanted to go over both of these builds, especially this one, before they leave, because it's got a lot of really cool parts on it. This is one of those Jeeps that just as soon as you see it, it catches your attention and it makes you want to walk up and do a walk around on this Jeep. And I figured, well, so many people are going to be doing that. Let's do a walk around video on this and show everybody what's going on with this Jeep specifically. So let's start on the front. This customer wanted to keep the Jeep light. He knows he's going to be going off-road. He's going to be doing a lot of overlanding trips with it. He wanted some light parts to go on this thing. In spite of it being a 392, I mean, both of these vehicles have 392s now, but he wanted a really powerful Jeep. But he wanted to keep it light because he is going to be adding extra gear there. So in spite of it having all that power, he still wants to keep it light. So what we did was we paired it up with a lot of Genrite parts, because Genrite makes a lot of aluminum bumpers, sliders, tire gear, stuff like that. That isn't just built well, it looks good too. And that's exactly what's going on with this bumper right here. It's not ultra high clearance bumper. We're going to show you that one in a minute. It's your standard stubby Genrite aluminum bumper. We did go with a bull bar. We don't like the big hoops. We didn't like it without it. I just like the way a bull bar looks, and so I paired him up with this bumper right here, and I think he's going to be really, really happy with it. Clevis mounts are going to be steel, so you don't have to worry about that. I mean, some people might be questioning that. Are the shackle mounts or clevis mounts, whatever you want to call them, are those going to be strong enough to hold up? Yes, they are, because these are steel and they're bolted through the bumper directly to the frame. So your toe points, your pull points are going to be super strong right here. Also, on Genrite products, and we're going to show you this on some of the other stuff that we put on here, they don't come with rash guards, but they're an option. And of course, because this guy is going to be going off-road, we made sure to option for him. But you got rash guards that are made out of steel. They're going to bolt on all your, I want to call them pinch points, but where you're going to be impacting this bumper against rocks, it's got steel protection against it right there. If you hit something on the front, you're going to hit it with those D-ring mounts, and it runs down and all on the bottom right here. It's done a really good job of protecting this bumper right here. Xeon 12S Platinum, because why not? Somebody made a comment the other day, all that, you're not going to go with the best winch. He opted for the 12S Platinum. We're going to show you the other winch here in a little bit. It's not quite as upscale as this winch, but Warn never lets you down. If you're going to be putting a winch on, this is the winch to use, because, well, any Warn winch, but these Platinum models are really, really nice. Really, the only big difference is you're able to actually operate the winch via Bluetooth, which you can do that on some of the cheaper models, but not the Xeon, which is kind of weird because it's in between. Great winch. It's never going to let this guy down. We chose, I don't know if you can tell yet or not, but we chose to use KC light on this project. Traditionally, we've stuck with BA designs on almost all our light designs for the vehicles that we build, but in this customer's case, we chose to go with KC. Why not? It's nice to have something now different now and then. But you can see their amber lenses are going to be a little bit darker tint than, let's say, the BA design stuff. Overall, the KC lights are going to be putting out optimal lighting anytime this guy's on the trail. So these are dust lights, what we're calling them. These are wired into the dust lights on the rear also. So if he's off on a dirt road, he's hauling ass, he's kicking up a lot of dust, amber lights are going to cut right through that and let everybody know he's coming or going. Up here on the A pillar, also opted for KC lights. These are going to be more of his ditch lights. When he's running and he wants to see far out ahead of him, we chose white along with white up here. Oh, I got to take those off right now. It's leaving tomorrow, and my luck, I'd break one of the covers taking it off. So we're not going to do that. White lights up top. Those are when we're going across the desert and we'll see way out there in front of him. He's going to use a combination between the amber and the white. So, fix that. But yeah, I like the KC lights. KC's been around forever. You know, and they are really into the lifestyle of the overland crowd. I noticed that's one thing Ryan and I saw when we were up at the Overland Expo in Flagstaff this year was KC had a nice area set up. They were really promoting the off-road and overland lifestyle. So KC's a great company to work with. I think they've been around for a long time, and they're going to be around for a long time. So we're excited to see them on these two Jeeps that we built for this video. Now, the customer did go with a pretty aggressive suspension, but he chose not to go to 40-inch tires. He went with 38s this time. Just to make sure everything would be safe, we did a fender trim kit on this. So we delete the inner liner part. We got rid of that extra part that hangs down below the factory fender here. We replaced the DRLs with Quake smoked lens DRLs. I've heard a lot of people give some bad flack towards Quake on their lights, stuff like that. I haven't had any problems with them whatsoever. We build a lot of Jeeps. We put a lot of this product out there. Every now and then you're going to see a problem with every product out there, but in case somebody's ready to drop a comment on that one, we haven't had an issue with Quake, and I think they look so good on this Jeep. They just sort of disappear into the rest of it being smoked, and that's what I like about them. Let's talk suspension. You've seen us install the suspension a million times. This is the Evo Long Arm Pro. So it's going to be their long arm kit for the JL with coilovers. Customer opted for adjustable coilovers in this case. I would have done E-Click had it been in the budget, but I think that considering everything else that we did, it was one of those deals that we just kind of looked back on with the customer and said, let's just do adjustable shocks. We'll do E-Click later on maybe, but Evo Long Arm Pro, you can't beat it. This thing rides really, really good. They all do. It wouldn't hurt. Maybe once he gets out there in Arizona, he finds a good shock tuner, maybe get this thing dialed in all the way, but this thing drives really, really, really good. We're sitting on top of Curry Dana 60 axles. You've seen us do this before plenty of times. However, this time we went with 8-lug. We've been selling a lot of the 5-lug or HD axles. Those are great for customers that don't want to upgrade to 8-lugs. Maybe they've already spent money on beadlocks in the 5-lug range. They want to keep them. That's great for them. In this case, we're doing brand new builds. Customers buying brand new wheels. We just went ahead and went 8-lugs. So now we're full float all the way through these things. And zero issues. The Currys, they just look good. They're going to operate great. It's just one of those things that when I look at these Jeep right here, the Currys just seem to fit really well with the build. And as always, if we're running tires, big tires on builds like these with big axles and we've got lockers front and rear, we are running PSC Hydro Assist on this. Since this was a factory 392 build, he got the entire PSC kit on it too. So he will have no issues steering through the trails on this Jeep when he gets out there. Let's move on a little bit more down here. More Genrite. Again, Genrite stuff looks really good, and it being aluminum, it's going to be light. So this customer chose to go with the Genrite rock sliders. Again, you're going to see, you don't notice it at first really, but you got your rash guards right here bolted on. So even though we got this lightweight aluminum behind here, we got that heavy duty steel that's going to protect these sliders as this guy's wheeling out in the rocks. He chose this route also because I don't think he has any little kids, anybody running in and out of the Jeep, so him and his wife should be able to get in this thing just fine. Up top, here's one that you don't see us do a whole lot of, and that's JCR. And I'm going to bust their balls right now. The only reason you don't see us do a lot of JCR is because they don't give us an account, so we have to pay full retail for everything. Not a big deal, really. I'm just joking. We give those guys some shit. But these are great racks. They look great. They're going to function exactly the way they should up there without giving you any problems. They mount easy, they assemble easy, they install easy. Great racks to work with. Lots of different ways to configure them too if you have different things going on. Up top, we did install some KC lights up here as well. So when he's got his base camp set up and he's done for the day, got all his camping gear set out, he can flip these lights on and really light up his camping area. So let's walk around back. One thing you're going to see a lot of us do on probably every JL that we do, whether it be heavy duty suspension, portal axles, whatever. If we're running a 37-inch tire or larger, 9 times out of 10, you're going to see us running a Moto-Built tire carrier. I think they make the best tire carrier for this application, right? My other tire carrier in this choice would be a Genrite aluminum tube style tire carrier. This customer didn't want to mess with opening that to open his tailgate. He wanted a one action move when he opens his tailgate. And that's exactly what the Moto-Built tire carrier does. It's very good at it. It's very heavy duty. And I really like their license plate relocation because there's only 2 bolts up here that you're going to have to mess with. Some of them are a little bit more complicated. Some of the different tire carriers out there are a little bit more complicated to work with. In this case, I always imagine if it's 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, maybe even later,
there was a whole nother universe out there, a whole nother frontier.
pitch black. I got to take the spare tire off of this thing and change it. I want it to be as easy as possible, and that's what I like about the Motorboat tire carrier as well. So you just pop a couple bolts out, unplug the camera and the light, set that to the side, take the tire off, put old tire on, you're back in business. Also, I mean, while we're looking at it, Raceline wheels. We started using Raceline a lot, mostly when we started doing portal axles last year because they had the offset and a forged V-lock that we really liked. And now we're just doing it. We're offering our customers the option of Raceline wheels, and they like them. So we just tell them, hey, go look at the website, pick something out. And they really like the way the Racelines look. I like the way the Racelines look. Hard to beat. Wrapped in Nitto 38-inch ridge grapplers. That's one you don't see us doing a whole lot of either. Normally, if we're doing a 38, you're going to see a trail grappler. In this case, customer wanted ridge grappler, didn't want any extra little noise in there, didn't need the super aggressive pattern of the trail grappler. So customer's not going to have any issues whatsoever running a ridge grappler. I'm still going to say trail grapplers are my favorite. And then again, we got some more KC lights up on top. I don't think this customer's going to have any issues seeing anything when they're out there. And last but not least, a couple more things. Genrite rear bumper, all aluminum. Again, you've got your rash guards all on the side and bottom. They are outfitted with the holes for the sensors, so you can move your sensors over, no problem. Last but not least back here is going to be the MagnaFlow exhaust. It's super pretty when you're looking at it from underneath. But yeah, it's a high clearance, so it gives a little bit more clearance than the factory exhaust system, and I think it sounds better. Let's go look up front again. There's one more thing I want to show you guys on this Jeep. So many lights on this rig, you wouldn't realize it just by looking at them on the outside, but they take up a lot of channels. Your 4 auxiliary switches that Jeep came with, just not enough, right? So we opted to put in the lace fit switches in the front for a couple of reasons. A, we don't like to run aftermarket e-lockers off of the Jeep's CAN bus system. We want to make sure we're getting a full 12 volts, and I don't think the CAN bus allows it. I think it's like 5 volts or something like that. We want a full 12 volts going to those lockers, so we're going to replace the CAN bus switches with lace fit switches, which look identical to factory switches. What's nice about them is they're actually labeled, your switches close to you can be labeled front locker, rear locker, and then auxiliary A, auxiliary B. So what we've done is we're using the front and rear locker switches for the lockers, obviously. We replaced the electronic sway bar motor with the Evo No Limits on demand. We tied that into his air compressor. So we turn his air compressor on. Oh, actually, these aren't e-lockers. These are air lockers. I forgot about that. Brain fart. We're so used to running e-lockers and everything that I got confused. We are running air lockers, but so his front and rear switches are going to the air locker solenoids. Another reason why we did it was just easier and cleaner to run air solenoids off of these switches than it is the factory switches. Auxiliary A is going to be his air compressor. Auxiliary B is going to be the sway bar motor, so disconnects the sway bar. And then your aux 1, aux 2, aux 3, 4 are running all the other lights on here. So a lot of lights,
little full,
a lot of switches,
a lot of sap.
Lace fit to the rescue. So pretty cool. All right, let's go talk about that one real quick. Let me back this one up. I'll pull that one forward. So, all right, that brings us to Jeep number 2. This is also, by the way, these are both 2024. What's nice about this is a 2024 Mojave. So it's going to have the different dash inside, electric seats, different grille. Other than that, I can't really tell the difference on it, but it is a super, super nice Jeep. I believe this one has over 100 miles on it now because I've been doing some test driving, and that's why it's dirty. The last time I test drove, it actually rained on us. Bummer. But customer is actually the father to the guy that owns this Jeep. So this is a father and son build. Customer wanted a 392 in it, so we gave him a 392. Same bumper on the front. Aluminum Genrite bumper. This is the ultra high clearance though, so nothing going on down here. As you can see right here, we got a lot of extra hanging down underneath the bumper to protect the sway bar motor. This is a Mojave, so no sway bar motor, no protection needed. We went ahead and got the ultra clearance bumper, right? The guys fabricated a nice mount. This guy's gonna be towing it behind his motor coach. So he needed a good tow bar system for this, which we got him. It'll attach to the clevis mounts right here. And we went ahead and fabricated this mount for his trailer, the wiring connection, airlines, and safety brake release. On this one, we did a Warn Evo VR10S. We don't anticipate he'll be using the winch nearly as much as his son, so we didn't feel the need to go that crazy on winches. KC lights again, dust lights. He didn't really want a whole bunch of lights on this one, so we just did dust lights front and rear, okay? Same lights as before. Does it ever get old popping the hood on a brand new Jeep Gladiator and seeing a brand new crate 392 in there? No, it doesn't. It never gets old. I love it. I love opening these up. I love building these for customers. I love it when the customer calls me after he gets it and tells me how much he loves it. I mean, it's the best feeling in the world, being able to produce vehicles like this for customers that really know what they're getting into and really appreciate it. So, I mean, making dreams come true all the way around for the customers and us. But yeah, how awesome is it to see a brand new vehicle come in? I think this Jeep had exactly 56 miles on it when it showed up. And it's always fun taking something with paper plates. We're gonna do that tomorrow too. Take something with paper plates and build something new out of it. So, 2024 Mojave, 392, he needed axles. Same exact Curry 8-lug axles as his son's Jeep. This time running 37-inch KO2s though. We didn't go quite as big and heavy as the 38-inch trail grapplers, but the KO2 is a proven tire. It's not one that I necessarily like or recommend, but again, I can't knock it. It's a great tire. It's been around forever. Can't go wrong with it, really. I mean, it's a soft, light tire, and it's exactly what he needed for this. We always have to do a little bit of a lift when it comes to Hemi conversions, and this is our go-to for the Mojaves is going to be the Evo 2.5 HD kit. It works very well with the Hemis. We also like it on the Mojave because we don't want to throw those shocks away, and Evo makes 2.5 shock extensions that work really well. So we use the 2.5-inch shock extensions, so we keep the Mojave shocks. We put in HD springs. Customer chose rock slide engineering steps on this one. I don't think he's an old guy. I've never met him, but you know, it's nice if you're a little bit older person to be able to get in and out of the Jeep. Nice. It's nice when you're not an old person. But he's also married. His wife, she wants to get in nice and easy, so we put in the rock slide engineering steps. We did push the rash guards on those as well, so you guys always be aware if you're buying rock slide engineering power steps to also opt to get the rash guards or whatever you want to call them, but it's an extra layer, about 3/16 steel that gets bolted to the outside of the step to protect it in case you actually go off-roading. Raceline wheels again. In fact, same raceline wheels that went on his son's Jeep. This time he opted to keep them with a raw finish, which I think pops really hard, especially on vehicles that are red and black. So, red Mojave, raw finish, looks amazing. Let's go to the back of the Jeep real quick. Oh, anti-rock sway bar in the rear is almost a must on any Jeep Gladiator that goes off-road. And you overland guys, make sure you know they do have a heavier rate sway bar for these too. So if you got extra weight back there, go with the thicker sway bar. Aluminum Gen Right bumper in the rear, again with rash guards. And we put his dust lights in right here. He opted to get the extra step also for this. What's nice about that, it's got some holes notched in it here. It's gonna be a little bit of traction, so if you get up on there, you don't slip off right away. Bed cover was already on it. That's something the dealership put on. This wasn't a super complicated build, not a whole lot of parts going on it, which is what I like about this Jeep. In fact, I mean, it's pretty simple, but it's pretty awesome at the same time. You know, this guy spent probably almost as much money accessorizing his Jeep. This guy spent the same amount of money just making this one badass. Just goes to show you what you can do with a budget. Put a V8 and axles and wheels and tires and all the other stuff, or just accessorize. But either way you go, both of these builds are super badass.
Super badass.
Father and son builds. I guess they both did very well for themselves recently, and they wanted to reward themselves with some really awesome builds, and they came to the right place. I love them both, and I can't wait to get the next ones in here. So when you guys are ready to reward yourselves for doing something awesome, make sure you hit us up, and for more videos of off-roading and other cool stuff, click here. Aluminum, and then Orion.